earlier, but there was a tornado warning and golf ball, not golf ball. It was kind of like a dime-sized hail and all kinds of shit. And luckily survived that, and that actually went by fit really quick because it had like maybe 80 to 60 mile-an-hour winds depending on where people lived and stuff, and it went by very quick. And I'm actually very grateful to be not in this area, but it's kind of a weird little pocket that where this house is. It's kind of like sometimes you get hit with the big storm, sometimes you barely miss the bad stuff. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to explain for people that don't live in that kind of area. But yeah, it went by, and it's actually a lot quieter than it was a half hour and an hour ago. So yeah, I was gonna do this earlier, but shit happens. Anyway, TNA Lockdown is this Sunday. And, there's not any more matches, but on Impact tonight, they had two updates for matches, but one was like, predictable one, and the other one was just a complete change. Let's just go with the predictable one first of all. It's, because they had to have the man advantage figured out first of all. So, it was going to be like either Immortal or Fortune gets the one-man advantage, and it was going to be a 2 out of 3 series. Best of 3 series, I should say. And Immortal, sweeped it. It was like the first 2 falls, and Kazarian got beat by, Matt Hardy. And then Abyss actually dominated James Storm, which you don't see that often. Like getting James Storm just getting dominated like that. It's just crazy. But yeah, Immortal has now the one-man advantage, and seeing that they could use Abyss to start it off, or come out as the one man that's, after the first time period that Abyss could come out. They could put like Flair first, and with his conditioning, and then have Abyss come out first with a man advantage. You have to go with Immortal, to be honest, because sure, some of them don't have the experience in lethal lockdown like Fortune does, but still, in a way, Immortal can use that weight advantage. And I say that I'm not trying to joke about Matt Hardy being a fat ass and shit, but they could use fat ass Matt Hardy too. They could do that, but or Bully Ray, because there's a bunch of fat asses on that team, but still. The weight advantage is not a joke in lethal lockdown, because you can basically use that weight to push someone through the cage and make them bleed in the cage, and so many possibilities, especially with the weapons coming on top and Abyss. Especially if Abyss comes out last and then he can use the weapons and he's a fresher guy, I have to now go with Immortal, to be honest, because not just because they have the one-man advantage, but now you think about it, it's because they have that advantage. They can do whatever they want. The second change is Jeff Jarrett versus Kurt Angle. It is something they call Ultraman rules. It's basically a 2 out of 3 fall. It's kind of like a 3 stages of hell, but in a cage. First fall would be pinfalls. Second fall would be submissions. And if they go to a third fall, it would be escaping the cage. Meaning going over the top of the cage and down to the ground, or going through the door. But with that being said, if it does go to a third fall, we've seen Kurt Angle do a moonsault off top of a cage before, so we know he can get up there pretty quickly. And that might come in handy for a excuse me, but for the pinfall, he could do a fucking moonsault top of the cage. You saw last year or 2 years ago, he did that to Anderson, and that was fucking epic, But honestly, I would have to go with Angle. Doesn't matter if it's Ultraman rules or fucking UFC shit. Angle's got this in the bag. I would want to say he's been more cage matches than Jarrett has, but it's pretty almost even, to be honest with you. But, the advantage either way has to go to Angle. His conditioning's a lot better. He can do a bunch of shit in a cage, and it's Kurt Angle. I mean, how can you not go against Kurt Angle, especially in a cage? He's a wrestling machine, and he's a rabid animal when he needs to be. Especially in a cage, man, because you can't... Okay, here's the thing. Backing Kurt Angle in a corner is one thing. But backing Kurt Angle into a corner in a cage is stupid on Jared's part. Getting this match in general is stupid on Jared's part. But you know what? It is what it is. And this Sunday is Lockdown. All steel cage match pay-per-view. If you've never seen it before, you're in for a treat. I'll tell you that much. And yeah, it is this Sunday.